Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another Donaram.com podcast. I'm sitting here with my friend Beau again tonight, and I can't wait to get into this one because it's a continuation of our Kingdom Hearts podcast where we went over the first entry in the series, and of course we're sitting here with crisp, refreshing Busch Lights. And before we get too far into this, the people we wish we were sponsored by this week is Quaker State Oil. You'd have to be Quackers not to go with Quakers. Beau, I gotta say, out of anything I've ever heard of the Kingdom Hearts, the way you put it was enough to be engaging for me, and actually kind of considering playing through it now, just because the story sounded interesting, and I think it's something even me and my daughter, who's in there playing the Dragons game, might actually enjoy. Like, I could see it. I really do wish. Well, I don't think they have, but I wish they would re-release them for the Switch. Even
I don't see any reason why all the ones up to 3 can't be released for the Switch. 3 might present some problems. I'm not very technical, but 3 might present some problems on the Switch.
It's interesting in that you think of what the world kind of views Nintendo as, like the game for the kid, or the game system for the kids, and yet Kingdom Hearts doesn't have a port, and it makes me hopeful that it will because of the Final Fantasies that they're releasing at the moment.
Yeah, Square is really committed to Square Enix is really committed to bringing a bunch of stuff to the Switch. One game I'm having a blast with right now is Final Fantasy X on my Switch. Playing Final Fantasy X on the go is just incredible, which I know you could have done it for the Vita, but no one owned a Vita.
Yeah.
That was the problem. No, Kingdom Hearts 2 is probably my favorite game of all time. When I tell people my favorite game, I usually say it's 1.5 plus 2.5, which covers pretty much half the Kingdom Hearts series, everyone's favorite half. And but 2 is really, I mean, it's just, that's when Nomura hit his stride. The series hit its stride, period. It was just a fantastic game. It was one of those things we talked about earlier where it came out the Twilight year of PS2.
Now, what year was that?
2006.
2006. Good
So
year.
this is the last year of the PS2.
Yeah.
Fantastic games come out in the last year of a system's life. They always do.
I thought its last year was much later.
The PS2, it continued to be active, but what I mean is the PS3 came out. Yeah.
Right. Okay. That's right. Before we get too far into Kingdom Hearts 2, there was one that, dare I say, is lamented by the community called Chain of Memories.
It's not really lamented. Like, there are people that flat out love Chain of Memories, especially Chain of Memories, which was a PS2 remake of the game. And because the original game was for the Game Boy Advance. It's not really that it's lamented. It's a fantastic game. It's just like, when you do a series playthrough, it was a fantastic game at the time because it held you off until 2 came out. Mm-hmm. You were able to play it. But now when you're doing a run through of the series, it's kind of like, I'd do the card thing. Like, your attacks are based on the deck, and every time you make an attack, you draw another card, and it's horrible.
Were they trying to model it off of another card game system?
No,
or was
no,
this
no.
because of Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon hype that people were going into card games? Because it seems like this is getting a little off topic, but it didn't seem like card games really got mainstream until Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon. So I could see them trying maybe to get in on that hype, or were trading card games big in Japan, and that's why they tried it with Chain of Memories.
Well, it doesn't play really like a trading card game. Like I said, you have a deck that you customize in your menu, and it's like every time you make an attack, you draw another card, and your attacks are based on these cards. Your magic is based on these cards. But you're still actively running around in a battle. But your menu in the battle is based on your hand, so to speak. It's so weird.
So a battle system maybe is.
Yeah, it's a card-based battle system. It's not like a trading card game. Actually, a trading card game might actually be pretty cool. I actually saw Etsy actually had someone made a Magic the Gathering deck based on Kingdom Hearts, which guys, don't tell Disney. That guy probably still wants to make his money. Don't tell Disney.
Wow.
Because those are all properties of Disney. No, Chain of Memories, it's just like, for instance, on the subreddit, the Kingdom Hearts subreddit, I saw one time where a guy posted that he platinumed out on it. He got all the trophies he needed, and he was like, there, I never have to play Chain of Memories again. Like,
I'm done. I did my work.
But Chain of Memories, the thing, another thing that makes people want to skip it is it winds up not mattering. It does, but it doesn't. Everything important about that happens in Chain of Memories will be told to you in the first hour of Kingdom Hearts, and then hammered on more details later as you go through Kingdom Hearts 2. But and Sora doesn't even remember that happened. Neither does Donald or Goofy. And
a broken Chain of Memories.
Correct. Basically, what it is, the whole game just establishes a character named Naminé, who has a very strange power over Sora's memories. That's basically what the game does.
And for anyone tuning into this one prior to listening to the other one, while I do suggest going back and listening to that first one, can we just give a recap of where we ended at Kingdom Hearts 1 to bring us into 2?
So exactly where Kingdom Hearts ended is you stopped Ansem, and Sora, Donald, and Goofy are walking through a field, and they're like, hey, what do we do? Well, we got to find Riku and the king. And then they see Pluto run off in the distance, and they chase after him. And that's what takes them to Castle Oblivion, and they go through the whole Chain of Memories thing. And at the end of Chain of Memories, Sora is put in a stasis pod. So
why?
To rebuild him, basically.
Oh.
That's the game answer.
Gotcha.
The meta answer is that they need a reason for him to be level 1 in Kingdom Hearts 2.
That's right. I remember you mentioning that.
Yeah, Kingdom Hearts. Every Kingdom Hearts has to have a clever way of making him level 1 come the next game.
Gotcha. Okay, so that brings us up to 2, and I assume at the beginning of the game he's still in that stasis. Someone's got to unlock him.
Well, at the beginning of 2, they pulled a Metal Gear Solid 2 on us, except it was the opposite. We were playing as someone other than Sora at the beginning of Kingdom Hearts 2. And nowadays, on modern playthroughs, people generally will play 358 over half days before they play Kingdom Hearts 2. But back in the day, we didn't have that. It just went straight to Kingdom Hearts 2. So you have no idea who this person is. His name's Roxas. Mm-hmm. And the game starts off, Roxas and his friends are just chilling out. They're like normal high school students in a place called Twilight Town. And all the pictures in town have been stolen. And they can't even say the word photograph. Very weird things going on. So Roxas and his friends go on a series of misadventures. All sorts of weird things happen. And they investigate Twilight Town and a bunch of urban legends around it because they want to help Roxas and find out what's going on.
But we still don't know who Roxas is.
We, the audience, don't know who Roxas is. Except he keeps having dreams about Sora, and he doesn't know who Sora is. But he's having dreams about him. So all this keeps happening, and Roxas comes into contact with Naminé and Ansem. Or, actually, I just gave a huge spoiler, slip of the tongue. Forget what I said there. He comes into contact with a gentleman named Diz and Naminé. So Diz is a guy that we learn through his monologues and stuff, wants revenge against people called Organization 13, who we met in Chain of Memories. They're an organization of nobodies trying to find Kingdom Hearts so that they can have hearts again. Because nobodies don't have hearts. Because when you die and become a Heartless, the Heartless is what happens to your heart. Your dark heart turns into this monster. And what happens to the body, if your will was strong enough, is you become a nobody.
I may be stretching it, but is there any even slightly small connection between... wasn't there a character in Final Fantasy VII named 13?
Red 13, yes.
Is there any connection between that and the gang?
Tetsuya Nomura was the character designer that designed Red 13, so maybe he likes the number.
I guess.
That might be it. 13's also widely considered to be an unlucky number, so having the bad guys number in 13 is probably a... Because that's the thing, there's 13 members.
Right. I didn't realize that.
So we have that situation going on, and Roxas is basically coming to terms, and this guy named Axel keeps showing up saying he's going to bring him back. Roxas doesn't know what he's talking about. Roxas has no idea what anyone's talking about. Feels like he's going crazy. But through meeting Diz and Naminé, he learns that he's Sora's nobody. But Naminé keeps assuring him that he does have feelings. He is a person. He is his own person. But is he really? Because now he's faced with the fact that he's a nobody. Mm-hmm. Anyway, you fight your way through this mansion, eventually making your way to the stasis pod. It opens up, and Roxas sees Sora, and suddenly it's real. He is Sora's nobody, and it ends with him saying, "Looks like this is the end of my summer vacation." The next thing we know, Sora's waking up, and Donald and Goofy get out of their stasis pods, and they're all happy.
Oh, I didn't even realize that they were in stasis pods.
You don't either until you discover Sora.
Ah, okay.
So, Sora, Donald, and Goofy get out of there, and they seem to be in a different Twilight town than Roxas was in. Because we find out that Diz and this mysterious person he's been working with placed Roxas in a data Twilight town. There's more on that as the series goes on. People can literally transfer themselves to data worlds. It happens all the time.
Is it just some parallel world?
Yep, it's just made up of computer programs and stuff.
Okay.
But we're not really given solid answers on that in 2. We need to go through the series all the way to Coded for those answers.
Wow, and conveniently named. Okay.
Right. And it's much later in the release. So Sora gets out. He meets all of Roxas' friends. They don't know who Roxas is because they weren't, that wasn't a real thing. But there's something there. There's some sort of connection there because that's the power of hearts in Kingdom Hearts. Anyway, they see this hooded figure that's short and has these gigantic ears on his hood, and they're like, "Who is that guy?" And it turns out that it's King Mickey, and King Mickey helps them beat a bunch of nobodies, and he says, "Hey, you need to go see Master Yen Sid, the Keyblade master that trained me." So Yen Sid, the sorcerer from Fantasia, that Mickey literally worked for in Kingdom Hearts lore, was the Keyblade master that trained Mickey. So he's sort of the Yoda in this situation. So you take a train out to see him.
Well, so Mickey is a Keyblade wielder.
Yes, as we find out at the end of Kingdom Hearts 1, he had the other Keyblade to lock the seal to the other side of the door. So Mickey is a Keyblade wielder. So this is the first in a long line of things where in Kingdom Hearts 1 they kept saying that Sora was the Keyblade chosen, and as the series progresses, they're like, wait, everyone has a Keyblade.
Right. We're suddenly Jedis.
Right, exactly. So you go to see Yen Sid, and there's a Pete, Pete, the Disney bad guy. He's trying to get into Yen Sid's tower, and there's this really odd scene where Pete's talking about how he works for Maleficent, so he can boss Heartless around, and they listen to him. And it's true, he can boss Heartless around. But Sora, Donald, and Goofy are actually laughing to themselves. They're like, "Should we tell him?" And they're like, "Yeah, we totally iced her." And like, it's literally these 3 Disney characters laughing about how they murdered this woman. And the guy that works for her doesn't realize it. It's just a bizarre scene.
Which you'd think, I don't know how much time passes between 2
years.
Chain of Memories and 2. Oh, 2 years.
Between 1 and 2.
You'd think in 2 years he would have, thought about.
Why haven't I gotten an order lately?
Yeah, really. Wow.
So anyway, you take care of that situation. You go in and you meet Yen Sid. Yen Sid tells you all about, how you got to stop Organization 13, all that stuff, blah, blah, blah. And then he makes a joke about how Sora's clothes don't fit, because remember, Sora was 14 when he went to the pod. He's 16 now.
Oh, yeah.
And you can, in the game, actually, you can see where his clothes are a little tight on him and everything. Yeah. He's like, oh. So the fairy godmothers from Sleeping Beauty, Sleeping Beauty fairy godmothers, make him a new outfit.
Sure.
That's why his costume changes. And they also say that this one has a certain power to where he can change forms. So this is the first in the series where Sora has form changes. There's Valor form. You get a drive gauge that as it builds up, then a command unlocks and you can take another form. I almost always use Valor exclusively. But
what are the other ones?
Like Wisdom, which makes your magic more powerful. There's a Limit form, stuff like that. But Valor form just makes you wail on people, and you could equip 2 Keyblades at the same time. It's just awesome. So after that, Sora sets out on his adventure, and we got a couple new worlds as we go around. Again, these worlds aren't impacting the central story that much. Mm-hmm. Just a little organization member here or there, giving a little disposition.
You mentioned that there was a constant world. Hercules' world, is that one of them?
Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Olympus is the only one to appear in all games. All 3 main titled games.
Right. Which is strange. Out of all the ones to pick, unless that's just his favorite one.
Well, in Kingdom Hearts 1, it was the Colosseum.
Yeah.
In Kingdom Hearts 2, we get a little bit of story with it, but also there's a Colosseum there as well. In Kingdom Hearts 3, it is just a story world. Like, you just go through it normally. There is no Colosseum unless that's planned for DLC at one point. So anyway, you go through all these worlds, and there's a scene in the middle of the and then eventually you'll find your way back to Hollow Bastion, or do they go to the Hollow Bastion before they set out on the world? I can't remember. Right. You get to Hollow Bastion, and the Final Fantasy characters are trying to rebuild it.
Gotcha. Are they different ones, or are they the same Final Fantasy characters?
Leon and the gang again.
Gotcha.
All those guys are there, and they're trying to rebuild Hollow Bastion.
Did they have them in Chain of Memories?
Yes, but they weren't really there. It wasn't really. Sora was the only one that was actually there.
Gotcha.
In Chain of Memories.
Okay.
Everything else was an illusion in Castle Oblivion.
Gotcha.
So anyway, you go around these Disney worlds again, and then like in the middle of the game, you go back to Hollow Bastion, and just a whole boatload of stuff happens. Like a ton of story. Leon and Cloud join the fight against a massive group of Heartless. There's actually one of the coolest scenes in any Kingdom Hearts game, where a wave of you just fight infinite Heartless. It's actually a pretty cool scene. And at the end of this whole thing, this battle for Hollow Bastion, if you will, Maleficent shows up and kind of sacrifices herself so that you guys can escape.
Right.
Which is weird.
Yeah.
But, like she says, she has a plan, and it serves better for Sora to be alive for this plan to come to fruition. Right. So they just sort of leave. And you find out that the leader of Organization 13, Xemnas, Mickey mentions that looks like the Xemnas, the Ansem that he knew. So basically, you find out that the Ansem that you beat in Kingdom Hearts 1 is not really Ansem.
Right.
But then why does Xemnas look like him? There's this big mystery going on right there. And we don't find out till much later that this is all Xehanort, and then that even becomes more convoluted after that.
Sure.
But at one point you have to go. I'm getting a little scrambled here, but Kingdom Hearts 2, there's a lot going on, and this is kind of where the Kingdom Hearts story became the famous convoluted arc that it is.
Gotcha.
This is where the story just went absolutely nuts. So I'm jumping around a bit, but I'm just trying to give people the generalized idea of Kingdom Hearts 2. But at one point you have to hack Ansem's computer in Hollow Bastion. The computer that he kept. It's DTD or D2D, I can't remember what they call it, but it's basically Door to Darkness.
Sure.
It's the computer he used to research darkness. And when you hack it, you literally go into the Tron world to do so. So that's kind of a neat.
Cool.
Yeah.
So one of the worlds is Tron.
Yeah, one of the worlds is Tron.
Old school Tron or new Disney Tron?
All Tron is Disney Tron. Tron's always been a Disney property.
Okay, sorry. First Tron or remake Tron?
First Tron. And it's kind of a really neat thing because Kingdom Hearts 2 had the most worlds, if I'm not mistaken. And the worlds are there's always some cool mechanic to them. The only one that's weird is Atlantica. Atlantica is no longer an adventure world. It's a rhythm game.
Gotcha.
And it's just really weird. Actually, when I play it, I have to have my wife sit next to me because my rhythm's so bad that I just hold my hand over X and she says, now, and I play like that. That's why I wasn't good at Guitar Hero, because that's not going to work on... What was that big song on Guitar Hero? The one that was so hard that everyone... Through the Fire and the Flames.
Yeah, Dragon Force.
Yeah, Dragon Force. Yeah,
I mean, that one was just hard.
Nobody likes Dragon Force anymore.
They like that song. They like to see oh my god, the amount of videos of 14-year-olds that are playing it on guitar and just chewing bubble gum and not really caring.
Oh yeah,
it's insane.
Yeah, but you don't. That's one band you don't really hear about too much anymore.
No, it's like they had that one-hit wonder, and then that was it.
Right.
Somehow they got on. Somehow they got on Guitar Hero.
Right,
Probably
and that wasn't
because
even
of a ridiculous song.
that wasn't even the boss song. That was like the super bonus, hyper difficult song.
It's one that I think a lot of people do, like the 100% videos. I know there was a guy streaming on Twitch that was the first one that got 100% on it, and people were freaking out because he sat there for like 30 hours trying to get it.
But anyway, so you kind of there's a kind of a neat thing where a lot of the Disney worlds that you visit, you kind of revisit into before you go to the last world, and that is the world that never was, the Nobody's home world, Organization 13's home world.
Which is crazy. What would I'm trying to picture what that world would look like in my head.
New York City.
Okay.
Skyscrapers, the whole 9 yards. That's
Well,
what
at
it
least
looks like.
they're living okay.
And it's night, and it's usually raining.
Well, the city never sleeps.
City never sleeps.
And it's always raining. That's fitting.
Justice never sleeps.
Justice never sleeps.
By the way, I'm not really a big fan of their stuff, but these videos always crack me up. The College Humor Batman videos.
Oh, I might have to revisit them.
They're so good. I'm usually not a fan of their stuff, but the Batman videos are really good.
I'll have to get in touch with Don. He might remember.
The one with the Riddler, I highly recommend.
I'll look at that after this.
Anyway, so you get to the world that never was, and this has been, we come upon the hardest moment in a video game I've ever played, and
okay, that's a stretch.
Kingdom Hearts fans are pretty divided on it, because when I was researching how to get past it, people will either be like, "Oh, it took me forever," or they'll be like, "Oh, it wasn't even that hard." But there's always that guy.
Oh, sure.
I think Sekiro even had a lot of people on forums that were like, "Oh, this game isn't even really hard," and they were bawling their eyes out.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, Kingdom Hearts 3 critical mode is live. You could play the game on critical mode. I can't beat Darkseid, the tutorial boss.
Oh,
I can't do. And there's all sorts of people posting about how hard it is and everything. And what's funny is the complaint about Kingdom Hearts 3 up till now has been that it's too easy.
Yeah.
What they don't understand is it's been 13 years. Nomura's trying to draw in new fans.
Yeah.
I think it was a wise move. So now critical mode is his revenge on you.
Dare I say that a Disney game might have some people under 10 playing it.
Oh, absolutely. But you wouldn't think it's this boss. So you go through, and a strange Organization 13 member just shows up out of nowhere, and he has 2 Keyblades, which Roxas wielded 2 Keyblades earlier in the game, so it's Roxas. Roxas in Kingdom Hearts 2 is the hardest boss I've ever fought in a game, ever. Right. And it's particularly insane is the fact that he didn't even exist in the original release of Kingdom Hearts 2. He was added in 2.5 Final Mix.
Mm-hmm.
So people just traipsed through the world that never was on the way to the final bosses without ever fighting Roxas. But the first time I ever played it was the 2.5 Final Mix, and I had to get through Roxas to beat this game. Yeah. So anyway, and you confront Organization 13, and they're accessing a different Kingdom Hearts than Ansem was trying to. The one Ansem was trying to access was the heart of all worlds. The one these guys are trying to access is a collective destination for all hearts. Basically the source of all hearts in the world.
Okay, now I'm confused. So there are 2 Kingdom Hearts?
Yes, but these aren't the real Kingdom Hearts, as we'll find out later.
Okay.
The real Kingdom Hearts in Kingdom Hearts,
I guess I thought it was a place.
It's heaven, basically.
Oh.
Kingdom Hearts is basically heaven. It's where all hearts start, it's where all hearts end wind up.
Okay.
And we'll get more onto how Xehanort wants that when we do the Birth by Sleep one.
Sure.
Because we don't find out Xehanort's true intentions, and I don't remember. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think we actually know Xehanort's name in 2. I don't.
You don't find out that it's Xehanort?
Yeah, I think Xehanort. We don't find that out until Birth by Sleep, because I know when people that just played 1 and 2 played 3.
Yeah.
Massive confusion.
Oh, okay.
Because
so
you
really
have to play every single one of these games. You could skip Chain of Memories, go read the wiki. The wiki has a plot summary. But every single other game, please play it before you play 3. Because 3 everything in it is based on stuff from side. Like 1 and 2 almost didn't need to happen. Like the side games are way more important. Like
so, I know like 1 and 2 are 30-hour games and whatnot. Are the other side games just as long?
Yep, comparable, yes.
Oh, wow.
Kingdom Hearts is a massive series.
Yeah.
And unlike Final Fantasy, it's all one narrative.
Yeah.
Whereas in Final Fantasy, you can just pick and choose which ones you play when you play them, unless it states that it's a direct sequel. Like Final Fantasy 13 had 2 sequels and 10 had 1. Which, by the way, please buy Final Fantasy X on the Switch. It's just so cool to walk around with that game in your hands.
Yeah.
But anyway, you finally confront Ansem. You beat all these other Organization 13 members. You confront Ansem. You beat him. I mean, not Ansem, Xemnas. You find out that Diz is the real Ansem the Wise. He's the one that met with Mickey. Xemnas was an imposter that showed up, one of his students that usurped him and took his name and identity. And Ansem was his Heartless.
Yeah.
Whereas Xemnas is the nobody. Mm-hmm. So you find out all that. Cool. And you beat Xemnas. And as you beat Xemnas, it turns out Riku's got a Keyblade. Kairi's got a Keyblade. Everyone's got a Keyblade. And we will be given explanations on why all 3 of these people have a Keyblade in Birth by Sleep.
Are they special Keyblades or are they just...
All Keyblades are special.
Oh, okay.
The Keyblades just appear in your hand. No one gives you a Keyblade or anything.
Oh, gotcha.
And in fact, when Sora gets new Keyblades, I'm doing the air quotations thing.
It makes me speculate and think that Kingdom Hearts has something to do with bestowing a Keyblade on somebody.
Actually, I might as well say it because I can't believe that you guessed that. You find out in Birth by Sleep.
I will say, legitimately, for anyone doubting maybe that I just know that, I mean, you can. I know. What hell? You're on the same
just ask
podcast.
Me. Just ask. Message me on.
I have never played one of these games.
So
Ever.
It turns out that in Birth by Sleep, you play the Wayfinder trio: Terra, Aqua, and Ventus.
Okay.
And as you play through Birth by Sleep, it takes place 10 years before Kingdom Hearts 1. You meet the Destiny Island trio as children. Terra meets Riku, Aqua meets Kairi, and Ventus meets Sora. I'll save for Ventus and Sora's story from when we do the Birth by Sleep one, because there's a lot special going on. But basically, you find out that these people took out their Keyblades to these children, and the children touched them, and that bequeathed the power of Keyblade onto them. So that's literally how it happens. Your very astute observation.
So you are given Keyblades.
No, they just touched them. They didn't take the Keyblades. They just touched them.
Bad words, but in a way.
Bestow, yes, like you said earlier, bestow the Keyblades. Adam just took a Tootsie Roll. That's why he's talking that way. That's
massive Tootsie Roll.
Massive Tootsie Roll.
I wish they would sponsor us.
Tootsie Roll would be a great sponsor. Who doesn't like Tootsie Rolls, or at least the idea of them?
They are lying to themselves if they say they don't like Tootsie Rolls, or by extension, chocolate.
Right. Some people prefer dark chocolate. Some people like milk chocolate, but it's always chocolate, right? And even people that can't have it still like it. They just can't have it.
Yeah. I mean, you can like something you can't have.
Is it true that chocolate kills dogs, or does it just make them sick?
A certain amount will severely harm them. Otherwise, if they ate a Tootsie Roll, they're just going to have the runs.
How weird is it for chocolate to be poisoned to your...
Different strokes, man.
I guess I'm not scrambling to eat dog food, so I guess there's that.
I had a neighbor that would eat dog biscuits.
What?
I ain't kidding. I won't say his last name, but Sean. He was a neighbor of mine growing up, and he came over one day, and he saw that I was about to give a dog biscuit to one of my beagles as a treat. He went, "Hey." He took a bite out of it, and he said, "You're giving your dog crap."
I know. There's actually like a lot of like super like pet parent people.
He wasn't.
I know there's a lot of them that will like eat it to prove, Which, by the way, I didn't mean any of that derisively. I think it's wonderful when people have that relationship with their pets.
It's still weird to eat dog biscuits.
No, that part, sure, derisively, yes, that's weird. Even if you buy like the ethically sourced, fair trade, pure
free range dog biscuits.
By the way, the bad pet parents are the vegan ones though. The ones that make their pets go vegan. That is.
Oh yeah.
That is absurd. There's no way those dogs survive.
No, not happily. They aren't happy.
Well, can they even?
You know what? At that point, their man's okay friend.
No. The problem is they're still man's best friend. Man's just not being a very good friend to them.
Oh, they're making them rethink it. And the dogs are going to revolt at some point, and we need to put a stop to that.
Please feed your carnivore pets.
Yeah. Listen to your veterinarian. Let's just say that.
Right.
Yeah. If you trust anyone,
trust the vet.
Trust the vet.
Anyway, so everything's wrapped up. And actually, everyone goes home to Destiny Islands. Like Kingdom Hearts 2, it's kind of like Sora gets closure, but like the audience is just like, what's going on? That's why there's more of these games.
Yeah, a whole bunch of them. So is that midway through the game, or is that toward the end of the game?
That's the end of the game.
Oh, wow.
You defeat Xemnas. Turns out everyone and their cousins got a Keyblade. So what happens now is Kingdom Hearts becomes this weird side game series.
That's right, because there are a ton of them. How many games are there now?
Okay, so we have Kingdom Hearts 1, Chain of Memories, 358 over half days, 2. Then we go into Birth by Sleep, Coded Dream Drop Distance, 2.8, Backdoor. So that's 9, and then Kingdom Hearts 3 makes 10. Oh, and the mobile game, K-Hux. Kingdom Hearts Union X.
So, of those side games...
Union Cross.
With the closure, so to speak, coming up, but all these other questions, I'm almost confused on what's going off where or when now the timeline...
Everyone's confused.
Okay.
Especially since...
At the end of 2, everybody's confused?
Yeah, everyone's confused because it looks like Sora goes back to Destiny Islands. He found Kairi.
Mm-hmm.
Goofy and Donald know where Mickey is.
Yeah.
In fact, they're on Destiny Islands partying with him at the end of 2.
Yeah.
Everything seems fine, except there's still this looming threat of this darkness seeking Kingdom Hearts. Mm-hmm. And that's where these other games come in. And then Birth by Sleep... No, not Birth by Sleep, I take it back. Dream Drop Distance establishes that Xehanort is a time traveler.
Yeah.
So there's
that
just
could throw a wrench in your plans.
Yeah, there's just all sorts of stuff going on. But so Kingdom Hearts 2 went crazy, and then by the time we get to Birth by Sleep, Kingdom Hearts is just absolutely insane.
Yeah.
But I did this super condensed on purpose. I hope you heard something that just makes you want to really play Kingdom Hearts 2 because it is a must-play video game. Absolutely. Kingdom Hearts 2 is one of the must-play video games. I would put it up there with Pokemon Red and Blue. I would put it up there with Final Fantasy VII, easy. Perhaps even surpass Final Fantasy VII. It's debatable whether 7 is a must-play game. Everyone always has their own Final Fantasy that's a must-play. Most people have multiple ones that are must-plays.
It was the first jump into a 3D series. So.
I know you didn't like it when you tried it.
It wasn't that
You tried it, to clarify, he tried it so many years down the road.
Yeah, I can't wait to play the remake. Does Kingdom Hearts suffer from that, or did it age well?
Aged perfectly. I could still go back and play 1 fantastically. 1.5 Final Mix did not change the game that much, nor did 2.5.
Is that a suggestion to do? Like, if you didn't want to play 1 to get the 2, could you play 1.5 and 2.5?
Yeah, 1.5 and 2.5 are just remakes.
Okay.
So you're still playing the game. Gotcha. There's no reason to play the older versions.
Do they actually have a pause in the game, or does it just seamlessly transition into 2? Like once you beat 1.5, does the game roll credits and then a new button shows up for 2.5?
Oh, there's a menu in the 1.5 plus 2.5 game. Yeah. There's a menu where you choose the 6 games present. The 6 game present on that is Kingdom Hearts 1.5, Chain of Memories. 358 over half days is actually a movie. Yeah. It is a movie version of the game that you're going to watch. So you don't have to actually play the game. The game was a DS game.
Is it a 30-hour movie?
No. It's a condensed. It basically just rolls the cutscenes.
Okay.
It has a little text box explaining what little story is revealed to you through gameplay. Then Kingdom Hearts 2, obviously, Birth by Sleep Encoded.
Wouldn't that be massive if at this next Nintendo Direct they announced that Kingdom Hearts series was going to come for it up to 3?
Oh, to have it on mobile would be amazing. I would buy them all again. Easy.
Oh my gosh. I know we would play through it.
Right now, you can get every Kingdom Hearts game except the mobile game in 3 in a collection called The Story So Far. That is for PS4. It is $40. So anyone wanting to play through them, highly suggest that. If you want to play old school, PS2s, like we discussed in a podcast earlier, they made tons of them. They're very cheap.
Yeah.
And Kingdom Hearts 2 was Kingdom Hearts and Kingdom Hearts 2 were two of the best-selling games ever for the system.
Yeah.
Copies of that are flying around everywhere.
Yeah.
So if you want to play these games, and if you like video games, you want to play these games. I mean it. If you like action RPGs, Kingdom Hearts, like I said, 1.5 plus 2.5, that collection is my favorite game of all time.
Crazy.
Easily. So Sora for Smash.
Yeah.
I just want Sora in Smash.
See, that would be an epic direct. Not only do they announce like 1 through up to 3. I keep saying up to 3 because I think that would be right if they released all of them and then made everyone kind of cry for hype or cry for 3 to be released for the Nintendo Switch, which I could see like being on the Nintendo the new souped up one.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
That could be possible. But then at the end of it, say, and he's joining everybody else.
Oh yeah, or something like
Yeah, something crazy like that.
I would love it.
A direct just around that would be pretty cool.
Oh,
I know I would play through it. No, for sure if it came out for Switch. Well, anyway, that wraps it up. I think for Kingdom Hearts 2. If you haven't already, check out our YouTube. We're starting to get a lot more activity on that compared to years past while life was happening or whatnot. But if you like this, leave us a comment and let us know. We'd love to keep doing this, and we will come back for Kingdom Hearts 3 because that one I'm really kind of excited to hear about some of those side games as well as how this story picks up again after 2 to tie some of those looming threats into a conclusion. Anyway, I'm Adam and Beau, and we'll see you next time.